Sometimes I like to think back over a day and look at how many ideas I've received during the past 24 hours. Let's see. I've read about or had discussions about what factors are involved in a football game's outcome, about calcium citrate, about cutting boards, about who I allow to have a platform to influence my thinking, about how weather affects tire pressure, about Oklahoma, and plant-based and animal-based meat products, and book recommendations for light reading, and that's just a sample. Do you see a common theme running through all of those topics? Neither do I. That wide variety is mentally stimulating because my brain doesn't get bored with the same thing all the time. Some of those conversations or readings were short and some were lengthy, but all of them provided ideas that I could continue to ponder. And that's one of the key differences between a Charlotte Mason approach and a unit study approach. Unit studies are designed for theme-based learning. You focus on one topic and see how many subjects you can connect to it, trying to keep that theme running through them all. But Charlotte Mason is designed for variety in learning. So if you're making a switch from a unit studies approach to a Charlotte Mason approach, you'll need to shift your thinking on some things. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Simply Charlotte Mason podcast. I'm Sonia Schaefer. As we have done for the past few episodes, we are exploring some mental transitions that you may need to make if you're switching to a Charlotte Mason education. This time, let's look at making that switch from unit studies. First, I'll give 3 tendencies that you might recognize and need to correct in your thinking patterns. And then I'll share 3 tips to help you make that transition as smooth as possible. Tendency number 1. You've probably grown used to making the mental connections for your student. Usually, in a unit study approach, the teacher picks that one theme and tries to connect as many school subjects as possible to that theme, showing the student how they all fit together. But in a Charlotte Mason approach, you don't force those connections ahead of time. The focus is on giving your student that wide variety of subjects on different themes and allowing the student to discover the connections for herself. It's something that Charlotte called the science of relations. As we learn more about this wide world in which we live, we begin to form mental relations between the things that we learn about. Perhaps you're learning about Greek mythology and history, and you read the story of Prometheus. A few days later, you read the next poem in your poetry book that you're reading. It's by Longfellow, and the poem is called The Lighthouse. That's a completely different topic from Greek mythology. But near the end of that poem, the poet calls the lighthouse a new Prometheus chained upon the rock, still grasping in his hand the fire of Jove. Suddenly your mind lights up. You've made a connection. You understand that relation for yourself. It's your own possession. That's what makes learning stick. When your student is allowed to make those connections for herself. So focus on providing that wide variety of subjects and give your student the opportunity to experience her own personal joy of the science of relations. Tendency number 2. A lot of unit study curriculum includes hands-on projects. They're supposed to show what the student has learned. When you switch to a Charlotte Mason approach, you might feel like learning didn't happen if your student didn't do a hands-on project. It's easy to start looking at that finished project as the proof that the learning took place. But just remember, busy hands do not guarantee that the mind is engaged. In a Charlotte Mason approach, you'll know how well your student's mind is engaged when you hear her narrate. Being able to retell or explain what you read, put it in your own words, That's a great test of what you know. And that's one of the foundational learning tools that you want your student to practice using. You see, a Charlotte Mason approach is about making the move toward self-educating rather than teacher-focused educating. Self-education is the goal, and the methods that are used in all of the grade levels are designed to give that student practice with key tools for learning. Narration is one of those tools, and it can reassure you that learning did happen even without any cutting or pasting. If you would like to learn more about those tools for learning, I'll leave a link for a series of episodes for you. And if you listen to those episodes only once and then try to narrate them to yourself without going back, you will understand how powerful narration can be as a learning tool. Tendency number 3. We've talked about giving your student a wide variety of subjects. Perhaps you worry that your child will get confused with that wide variety of subjects and no common theme. Well, maybe it would help to look at it from the other direction. Variety is the spice of life. Rarely does life fall neatly into one common theme. Variety is what keeps life interesting. And variety in lessons can help keep them interesting and enjoyable. Think about your lessons like meals for the mind. Just as you don't serve all one type of food for your family's meals, so you don't want to serve all one theme in your family's mental meals. In Charlotte Mason circles, we often refer to spreading a feast of ideas. Wide variety will do that. Variety will also help your student, over time, get into the habit of looking for her own connections, and thus mentally interacting more with what she's learning. Now, over the past few episodes in this series, we've looked at 3 tendencies and 3 practical tips. So let's keep that trend going. Here are 3 tips that might help you make the change from unit studies to Charlotte Mason. First, be sure to make regular entries in a book of centuries. A book of centuries is basically a timeline in a book. Each 2-page spread covers 100 years, a century. Every time you read about a person or an event, flip open your book of centuries to the appropriate page and make an entry. Now, over time, as you enter more and more people and events, you'll start to see connections between them, because when you flip open to a century to enter a new person, you'll see all of the other people you've already studied who lived in that same century. That's what will help tie everything together. You don't have to tell your student who all lived in the same time in history. Just be faithful to make those book of centuries entries, and your student will see it for herself. I recommend keeping a family book of centuries when the children are young, so they can see how it works. And then, when each student's handwriting is well established, you can give her a personal book of centuries to start keeping. Check the description for links. The Book of Centuries is a key method to help your student with that science of relations and with self-educating. The second tip is to simplify and trust the methods, especially narration. Narration sounds easy, but it's harder than you might think. Read the passage in the Living Book to give your student those living ideas. For younger students, you read the passage aloud. Older students can read it on their own. But then ask your student to put that passage into her own words. Sometimes that narration might just be her talking, and that's okay. That mental process she's going through in order to tell will help cement that knowledge in her mind. Then sometimes you can ask for a narration in a different way, a more project-oriented way, if you will. You could say, draw a picture of your favorite part of the story and tell me about your picture. Or you could say, build today's story with your blocks and then tell me about that. For older students, you might say, pretend you're the main character in the book and write 3 journal entries about what happened in our reading today. Or you could challenge them to write and present a 1-act play about the day's reading, or present the events from the reading as a news broadcast. The main difference between those kinds of narrations and many unit study type projects is that the narrations are very open-ended. You suggest the type of media, picture or journal or news broadcast, and then you let the student take it from there. There are no pre-printed pages to be filled out or pictures to make their project match. They have freedom to interact with the material that was read, to pull from it the ideas that they connected with, and to present them to you in their own words with their own personality involved. Trust that method. The third tip has to do with those hands-on projects and craft supplies. There's nothing wrong with them, and you can use them in a Charlotte Mason way. Go ahead and provide those resources that can be used for hands-on learning. Set them out where your children can access them, but don't worry about coming up with teacher-directed projects to use them. Instead, focus on giving your student lots of great living ideas in the morning lesson time, and then lots of free time in the afternoons. You'll know your student has made that knowledge her own when you see her act out or play the history story or the poem or the art picture in her free time. But it should be her idea, not yours. You simply provide the capes and the swords, or the building blocks for pretend play, or the art supplies for drawing cartoons, or whatever. When you see your student voluntarily create something out of her own mind that was prompted by a living idea in one of her books, when it's her own creation, you'll know that she has made that knowledge her own. Now, here's a key point. Reading, narrating, Book of Centuries, and creating something of your own. Those are all tools for self-education. Your student can use all of those tools on her own to learn about anything she wants to. Those methods do not depend on someone else telling you what to do. And that's one of the main goals of a Charlotte Mason education, to give the student the tools for self-education and lots of practice with them so they become second nature to her. She can continue to use them and enjoy learning for herself over a lifetime. Next time, we'll wrap up this series and talk about switching to Charlotte Mason from an unschooling approach. And for all of you who are contemplating making a transition to a Charlotte Mason education, remember, you can ease into it. I'll leave links to the episodes that outline how to make the switch gradually, one step at a time, as you're ready. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.